Hey Starseeds, welcome to Starseed Energetics. My name is Bora and I'm going to be reading your collective energy for July Arcturians. I get a sense that many of you have had this constant stream of daydreaming for maybe the past few years that you haven't really revisited yet because it just felt like it wasn't going anywhere. And now you're folding into a reality wherein all of those daydreams are starting to make sense. Perhaps at one point in your life you just didn't realize how your life could be going through and shuffling through these timelines to find you in a position where that would actually be true. And so the kind of reaction that you had to your own daydreams were rather in disbelief or harsh or critical. You didn't even believe that it was part of your envisioning of the future because it was unbelievable for the time being. But it's starting to come together and it's still unbelievable, but if it's believable, it wouldn't be fifth dimension. Whoa! Whoa. All right, epic things going on for you. Mind control, the Temple of Poseidon, and recording crystals. Let me just show you these kick-ass oracle cards that I have. Three of Wands, King of Swords, Knight of Cups, and the Devil. You have this unhealthy attachment to something in your life, and it's something that is absolutely workable. Like, you can work through this if you are willing to just see it for what it is. But a lot of you are having problems seeing it even as what it is, or the truth of what it is. Most likely you're blaming it on some other addiction that is a byproduct of this core addiction, or a core belief about what you are or how you are or what you are here to do. And it's so fundamentally weaved into a default way of you looking at life, so it's hard for you to even realize that it's there. But it's all about awareness. Like, if you are just aware of that, and if you could just see this, you could warp this entire situation around. So don't be afraid of seeing your deepest, darkest version of yourself, because the sub-dimensional byproduct that which you've been struggling with the byproduct of this core wound, is even more difficult, and you've been trying to work with these byproduct situations, so it's been quite difficult. But you just need to grow aware of what this is. For most of you guys, it's got to do with time perception. And as obvious as that sounds, it's not in resonance with the reality that you really know. How is it that a lot of people can manifest incredible timelines even if they view it at a very linear pace? Is because their core consciousness is awakened to a level where it can still operate in the same bandwidth of creation. But because your core essence is undeniably awakened to a level of non-directional time, for you to try and materialize your scenarios through that perception just doesn't work. So that's that. Then when you realize this and stop denying yourself these offers of love or these expressions of love that are constantly knocking on your door, and you're simply not willing to explore them or give even curiosity to them without just shutting it down, that would be the rational thing to do. To stop doing that, to stop denying yourself things that you really want. feel like you settle for things that you want less because you're afraid to claim what you really, really want. And the reason for that can stretch back to so many different timelines or so many different memories and so many different past lives. But it's not useful to try to trace reasons, because at the end of it all, there's no reason. Focus on healing your heart chakra and forgiving as many people as possible, as many people as you can imagine. If you can think of somebody in your human reality, it means you can forgive them because for some reason you're remembering them. I'm sure there's a lot of people you can forgive, and starting with your parents and your siblings if you have some, and your extended family and your friends and all these people and yourself. But most of you need mother healing, because that's what I'm sensing for that collective, which is you. And think of how your mother received love. Most likely not in a very highly calibrated way can they receive love, these human parents. So part of that is really blocking your ability to tap into something that you're meant to do, or like meant to express, or meant to experience love, which translates to every area of your life. How you experience love and how you interact with the frequency of love basically plays out in your human reality. So try to see where your mother didn't do the best job at interacting with the energy of love, whether it's through filtering it through various different conditions or structures. And that will help you identify these blind spots where you are playing out the same dynamic but just with a different excuse, because that is the pattern. It's like, even if your soul has nothing to do with your human mother, which is the case for a lot of starseeds, and if you get emotional and egoic over that label, I don't know what to tell you, like, just get real. A lot of it has to do with this anxious projection of fear and time. But yeah, forgive your mother for giving you those imprints, because a lot of these imprints, they come physically into contact with our nature of being when you're going through the birth canal, and literally you get an imprint of like the biome when you're going through that birth canal. So you're shedding from that. The main message here, I have the Temple of Poseidon, which is time for new beginnings, new concept, idea, or pathway that's presented to you at a much higher level than anything you have previously considered. Review every aspect of your life from a higher perspective. Be aware that people look to you for guidance. So you're tapping into a level of perception that is literally from a very elevated perspective. Like, you're going to be looking at life from a very elevated perspective, and this is occurring to you already, so this shouldn't come as any surprise. And it's coming from a very high caliber of mind control, but in a very positive sense. You know, Atlanteans, which this is the recalibration of Atlantean timelines. I'm guided to work more with transmitting that energy. So if you're watching this video or any of the videos for July, you're getting a very massive Atlantean download or energetic blueprint through these videos and transmissions. And I'm in Brussels right now for a week, and it was just, I've been plopped here to transmit these energies for you guys, like my channel, in Brussels for a week, literally. And it's a place of ultimate union. It's the capital of the EU. Anyway, from early childhood, Atlanteans practice mind control. So this isn't a negative control, but it's like focusing your thoughts in a stream of energy to move objects, light up and program crystals, manifest their will. and using these powers for the highest good of all, and like, you know, being able to control your bodily functions like your metabolism, temperature, energy fields, bilocation, parallel processing, all of those things that you are used to. This is what you were born with, and that's what you were conditioned out of from your biological imprints as a human. And I think part of what you're having a really difficult time forgiving is the fact that you had lost it for a while in this incarnation. And like, as you come into the remembrance of these abilities that you always had, I think it's gonna really piss you off that you hadn't been using it until now. But it's almost like you're trying to block yourself from using it because you're afraid of facing the fact that you lost it for a while. Like you, and it's like planned. You were supposed to forget it, but it just makes you furious that you hadn't been using this for a while, if that makes sense. So that makes sense, because I was saying how you guys are focused on, you're not willing to see the large truth because you're afraid of their byproduct. And this coming up as the forgiveness factor shows that you're not willing to look at the fact that you have all these mind powers because you're afraid of feeling that resentment that you know is coming because you're an empath. Does that make sense? So that's just what I'm getting here. So the clear thing to do would be to just like get over the resentment, get over the forgiving phase, and, you know, embrace these mind powers again, instead of like avoiding it from the fear that you're gonna be resentful about not being able to use it for the past like however long you've lived your human life. Then we have recording crystals, like one of your superpowers. As you watching this, one of your absolute superpowers is that you work impeccably with crystal consciousness, like actual crystal consciousness. Like this is part of what we used to do in Atlantis, is co-create realities with the hyper intelligent consciousness of crystals, which they are just absolutely pure in a certain facet of consciousness, especially when it comes to recording and reflecting or refracting information and vibratory fields and energy. And they are part of nature's greatest technological tools that is going to help us slay fifth dimension when we start to transmute this collective into that reality. And you have no idea what crystals can do for you. Your understanding of this magical creaturehood is going to expand to a level that is just incomprehensible for the moment. But you're starting to remember how to use crystals. And the fact that humanity uses it now, awesome, amazing, but we haven't even started scratching the surface of what it's like to truly co-create reality with crystal consciousness, like mineral consciousness that is divine. So you're learning to channel this now, and you are going to come into contact with these crystals and experience this divine union between a certain stream of crystal consciousness that you have soul lineage with, soul familyhood with. Soul family doesn't just show up in humans, they show up as crystals, animals, you know. So you're going to be meeting your crystal allies, some of the most important ones that you will be working with for times to come. So in the next week, if you're inspired to do so, I recommend you to follow your intuition to a source where you can get into contact with new crystal family. So like a crystal store, metaphysical store, or the beach. A lot of you are starting to work with color therapy as well. So create and activate your own DNA. So I'm getting a sense that a lot of you had intense priest or priestesshood, and you're activating that DNA, like most likely Atlantean priest and priestess. You're activating that timeline, and that's why you're starting to get these remembrances of how to work with crystals, because you worked with crystals a lot before. You were crystal keepers in Atlantis, some of your lives, and you have a powerful connection with the fairy realms, but especially the mineral kingdom. The specific soul that's being braided to you from Atlantis is really intensely imbued with crystal technology. Okay, I feel like I've been saying the same thing over and over, but those were the messages, and if it comes through, then it comes through. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have the most amazing July. It's going to be an incredible month. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, I do personal readings, but they're not based on linear time. So if you're comfortable with the uncertainty of time, I would love to work with you, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.